Hey, have you heard? Four-Legged Life has a new digital newsletter. Here, let me show you how you get yourself subscribed. So you just type in Four-Legged Life, and that'll take you to the website. There we go. And this magic thing just appears, and you type in your email address. I'll use, let's see, how about coolestdogever@gmail.com. That's me. And then you just click on this thing here. There you go. It's the new digital newsletter from Four-Legged Life. Get subscribed today.
We're talking to amazing dog trainer. His name is Scott Schaefer. We're talking about some ways to deal with separation anxiety. He talked about just no big deal. Ignore the dog for about 20 minutes before you leave. What's another tip, Scott?
And well, just to add on to that one a little bit more, just to finish the last half of that. And when you get home, ditto. When you get back, ditto. Don't go from 0 to 100 because your dog is going, oh, my owner would just get home. Everything would be perfect. But just ease them into your re-entry. Don't make that so exciting for them.
So don't throw a big parade party when you come in.
Yes. And when you don't, and when you leave, don't go screaming to them and say, Mommy's going to be back. Don't be sad. Don't do that. That's really bad. The second tip I would give dog owners his dog might have an issue with separation anxiety is to leave them something right before you leave. Now, I know I told you to ignore them.
Right.
But leave them a treat. Throw some kibble on the floor. Let them forage for it. Have the old frozen Kong thing with peanut butter and cheese, that kind of thing. The last thing you do, you're ignoring them, but the last thing you do before you walk out the door is put that down. And what does that do? It gives them something to do. And two, they start to kind of some simple classical conditioning that when mom leaves, when dad leaves, the party starts.
Is the dog saying, don't let the door hit you in the tail?
Pretty much. Or the one I like to say, shouldn't you get going? Early traffic might be bad. Yeah. So that's how you know you've done it well. Now, one of the key things is about that strategy, and this is a diagnostic tool also, is dogs that have moderate or greater separation anxiety, they don't eat.
Oh,
They're
good
too
point.
stressed to eat. Yeah. So if your dog actually takes that treat, that's a good sign. It's, okay, we're not in probably too bad a shape. That's one of the more reliable indicators. But those are two quick tips.
I like that. And also, we always put on HGTV or dog TV when we leave because we know their ears are getting. A good friend, Becky LaBeach, shout out, is the head of the dog TV. What's your take on something auditory for a dog when you're leaving?
You are really asking all the right questions, because one thing we know about dogs with separation anxiety, again, I'm speaking more of the moderate to severe levels. We know they have noise phobia. They almost always have a noise phobia. So we know about trigger stacking, right? Trigger stacking just says multiple things are making me nervous. So the owner is gone and they're already on edge. Oh no, they're gone. What's going to happen to me? I wonder if they'll ever come back. And then they hear a noise outside the house, like a construction noise or something. And so that's an additive trigger. So now they're really nervous. Okay. So I highly recommend people do exactly what you're doing, is put some music on in the background, the dog TV, whatever you want to use. And it does two things. It can be kind of soothing, and it helps to cover some of these outside noises.
I like it.
Phobic.
I mean, we do that before we go out to dinner, and the dogs are on the couch, Kona and Emma, and we put on either dog TV or dog or HGTV, one of the many shows, because I don't want to put on one of my favorite show series because they will tell me the ending.
Oh, yeah, there'll be a spoiler. Yeah, there'll be a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't want spoilers.
No. I have a little interesting note here for you about that strategy and other similar strategies.
Okay.
Here's the problem, and I'll tell you how to remedy it. If the only time your dog hears dog TV is when you leave,
oh, no, yeah.
What's going to start to happen? They become conditioned to that. Oh, no, they're going to leave. So I am totally good with those kind of things. In fact, I encourage it, as we just talked about. But you might want to play it during the day sometimes so they don't
I do.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah. Good girl, Arden. Get a treat. Yeah. Well, let's talk about sometimes they're getting help from you, but sometimes they may have a medical issue, or when do you know when you need some medication? There's different types of medication to deal with anxiety in people, in dogs. And I know you probably work closely with veterinarians, but talk about, there's some different help here, but it's all, different degrees, I guess.
Yeah. With separation anxiety, my rule of thumb, so it's rule of thumb, is for cases that are moderate or greater, we almost always want to involve medication.
Okay.
So that would be an anti-anxiety medication, of which there are numerous ones.
And some, I know, I'm not going to say them because I'm not a pharmacist and I don't play one on TV, but check with your veterinarian. But some are good for impending things like a thunderstorm or, whatever. And they hit for that acute time. And others are just mellowing the dog out over time, right?
Yes.
So we're not pharmacists, either one of us, but that's why I want to make sure that their medication is in different types of formats. And right.
Typically for separation anxiety, we use the more chronic medication, the long-term medication. But then a lot of vets will recommend, and I encourage, a short-term as needed, or called PRN medication, that if the dog's going to have a really big problem, like, wow, so there's a thunderstorm in addition to me leaving kind of thing, you can use that too. So that's always a great thing. So we work with the vets on that. It is absolutely not going to fix separation anxiety if it's moderate or greater. It's just not going to. But studies have shown that it can impact it. It depends on what study you look at, 30 to 40%. So that's pretty good. So 60 to 70% is behavior modification, but 30 to 40% is a really nice adjunct. It's a really nice adjunct. But we have to really be careful that we monitor that medication and work with a vet. In fact, I'm doing a podcast that's coming out in a couple of weeks on this very subject. Work with your vet on these meds. The other thing.
Well, and wait a minute. Let's tell the name of your podcast.
Oh, well, that's a good idea. A shameless plug right here. Dog Aggression Answers. Available on all the popular players.
So any parting advice you want to give to all our listeners, either about aggression, separation anxiety? I just am very honored to have you on our show. You just have a ton of knowledge, and I can feel your heart. You want to have a good connection with the people and their pets.
And that's the fun part. If you don't love people and you don't love dogs, don't be in our business, correct?
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, you have to. I actually have really just a couple quick things that I tell all my clients, and I think it's very applicable now. If your dog is presenting with significant behavior issues, regardless of what they are, aggression, separation anxiety, get help from a qualified individual. Qualified, the sooner the better. Don't let the cancer become metastasized before you work on it. Get there early, because these behavior issues always get worse. The second thing I tell them are 3 things. Don't you or let anyone else use aversives on your dog ever. Choke collars, prong collars, shock collars, don't do them. Short-term gain, long-term pain. I have never seen a behavior issue where these kind of techniques are aided by these things. They're always contraindicated. Don't use them.
These dogs are plotting to kill you when you're sleeping.
Oh, yeah, it's not good, or kill other people, whatever. Yeah. And the other one I'm going to probably get emotional when I tell you this. I just want to stand on the roof and yell this when I say, you don't have a bad dog. You most likely have a fearful dog. Your dog isn't bad. He or she's afraid. And if you know that, because that's what it is, if you know that, it reframes your thinking and how you deal with your dog.
Brilliant.